and Kojo Show.
Hello.
Hello.
Live, I think. As always, we're not quite sure on the OMID KOJO show.
We are live. I got the notification.
We're live.
We're live.
Fantastic. And we're here with a very special guest today. Some of you might have heard of him. Some of you might not have. He is the founder of the famous, award-winning Forgotten Trick Archive series on Kojo's Trick Lab, and a good mate of ours, known for his mediocre progression in the sport and infamous hamstring injury from falling into the without being able to do the splits well. So that's who we've got on today. Where's he gone?
Runner-up of the Nobel Peace Prize, Adam Dilkwig.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
The crowd goes wild.
Wild.
Yeah, so Dilk's got a lot of controversial opinions about a lot of things, and he's not afraid to share them. He's a northerner, you see. They're like that.
Yeah, my name's not on this show, so I can say what I want.
Yeah. Let's jump right into it. Dilk, tell us what you think. What do you think about the current state of tricking? What do you think, Dilk?
Okay, no filter. Current state of tricking. So it seems like there's select little groups where people focus their attention on these small groups, and everyone else kind of doesn't really care about anything that's going on. So the people that train in Taka's gym, the green gym as we call it, you know, the clones that just go out there and they do really impressive stuff, but it's like you see it and then you forget about it the next day. And then there's the Tundra crew. So you're watching ShowSay samplers, sometimes watching Zen samplers, and then there seems to be the Ethan Turner sort of little fan club that's going on, releasing good samplers, good session footage.
Hang on. I watch all of Zen samplers. I think Zen samplers are like a slightly different level of hype to ShowSay's.
I think just because there's not as many, it feels like there's less quality. As like ShowSay's always putting out videos like two every week or something. Whereas then occasionally we'll put out a sampler, so I guess that's right.
It's all busted. Well, did you see their last one? Whose edit? I don't know if it was ShowSay or Zen's edit. It was on one of their channels. They had like an edit of a bunch of them, and they used, I don't know, it's just a bit different to their normal one, because it wasn't like, you know,
Were they not
bad
the rhythm?
rap. It was a rock song, I was surprised, but like an old one.
Cockroaches in it.
Huh?
There's any cockroaches in it.
There wasn't a single cockroach in it, but there was some banger tricks, and it seemed like an attempt to make like an actual little community sampler thing, which is pretty cool, because there's not many people doing that nowadays.
Yeah. And to tell you the truth though, I never used to, remember when Mike used to release videos of him and like all his pals? I used to kind of hate it. I'd rather just have like a 1 minute session edit of Mike as opposed to like a 6 minute video where I have to keep jumping so that I can see Mike do tricks.
You gotta skim through. Well, it's like, I don't know. I don't blame them for it, because it's like, make whatever videos you want, but yeah, it's like that with me with ShowSay videos. I have to like skip through the river and the street again, and then back to the tricks. I've kind of got into he does it in a pretty similar formula each time, so I've gotten good at like knowing when to skip.
Yeah, there's usually some bangers near the start after the intro. Then you have to skip kind of 5 minutes, and then you usually get the bangers and what's in the title right at the end. So you get at least a minute of good footage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the way he's going though, like, well, for both him and Zen, I think, well, because they're so young, like, then we'll get to a point where their videos are just going to be popping. Like, they may not be to our taste at the time because we're going to be 30-year-old men.
Yeah.
But it's the formula that will probably end up working if they keep trying to expand.
Omid, you're a famous YouTuber.
I am a famous YouTuber.
What do you think will become of their YouTube careers? Do you think they'll be sensations like you?
I think they're not quite like Omid, because I'm a YouTube sensation, you see. But I think it's weird, because I didn't really predict this direction, but having seen, did you see the video of them when they were dressed up as, like, I think they were dressed up as anime characters?
Yeah, I don't know if I watched the video. I saw that it was a thing though.
No, I didn't watch it either. But like, that is definitely a lane that they could go down that would probably do really,
Get the
really well.
mainstream in.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it was outside, like if it wasn't in a gym, I think the gym makes it a lot
Well, I
worse.
think they did that one in the woods, and I
Oh,
think
did
it was
they?
like trying to like replicate the scenes that would have been in a particular anime.
Oh, I bet
And
people
again,
love
I'm not
that.
speaking from experience because I don't watch anime or anything, but like, I think if they were doing that kind of shit, I feel like that could be a really, I don't know, it could be a fruitful path for them to take. However, I'd rather see them go the rock star style and start, I don't know, go like the Nigel Houston direction.
Well, they start like breaking springboards and stuff, popping
Yeah,
air
they just
tracks.
They got mad bitches in all their videos and stuff, and like they're driving i8s and shit, and like one of them's got a Wraith.
ShowSay does quint cork and then like I don't know, throws a Molotov cocktail into the gym, walks out with an explosion behind him, burning Tundra to the ground.
What do you think, Dilk? You're a man of the internet. What do you think? What do you think of their current videos, and where do you think they're gonna go?
Well, I had a thought just now that if we look back at our videos when we were 15, they're a lot better than the videos we were making.
Yeah, way better.
Some flash little digital camera.
Oh yeah,
No in between the clips, and you'd put on some crap song that you were listening to at the time.
they had heart though.
Oh,
I used the song the "Can you feel my heart?" You know that song? I used that song for a tramp edit. It was sick. It was hype. I even had a shot where the focus was on a twig, and I was on the tramp in the background.
So you were ahead of the game even there?
I was creative genius. That some would say, you know.
Innovator. But yeah, because, me and Kojo, we make no bones about it. We think that some of the music that gets used in the ShowSay samplers is not to our tastes.
I don't publicly hate on any of it though, because I think it's all people wouldn't like what I use and stuff, and that's fine too. But the intro, I don't know. But I guess it's no attack. It's nothing against ShowSay. It's just the intro song. Every time I'm like, I have to kind of rush to mute it because it like hurts me because like I'm waiting down now, and I'm like ah. Like every time, it actually hurts me. It wounds me.
I don't know. No. I think because one thing is I don't know if they're trying to monetize their shit, but I'm pretty certain they're using like Epidemic Sound.
Yeah.
Songs.
So you
and
can't.
it's like it's quite difficult, speaking from experience, to find any songs that don't make you want to die. Like I've kind of given up with that because I used to spend like especially if it was a video that I really really liked and I was like proud of it. Like I'd want the music to be something that I liked, but I'd spend like literally like an hour looking for a song and I'd get nowhere with it. So now I'm just like I just pick kind of the first one that isn't the worst. That's the bar that you have to kind of set when you're looking for like royalty free music.
Yeah, find one that's not the worst ever. But
as well, because I've had videos, right? I've got a video that's got like 500k views and it's demonetized because I used a guy from SoundCloud's music. I used to search SoundCloud and use different artists' music and I'd promote them or whatever, like in the description. And as long as I have their permission and I could screenshot it, then I could I could contest the claim. But with this one, they were just like, nah, bro. I was like, that's like £600, man.
The worst is when you use music that's free and then the person sells it, so then now that your music gets claimed, even though it was free when you used it. I know that can put people over.
Yeah.
Damn.
It is what it is, though.
It is. Such is life, eh?
Yeah.
But since we were just talking about the, choosing whatever's the least horrible, that leads us on to a topic I want to discuss with you guys.
Go on.
Something I want to talk about. I want to quiz you,
Sure.
So something me and Kojo talk about a lot is the standards of tricking.
Oh, here we go.
Big topic. So I have some very heated views about the standards of tricking and where it could lead potentially in the long run. So let's start with Alexander Frederick Omidvar. Let's talk about what you believe is the level of tricking standards today as far as like the overall view.
In what sense? Do you mean like in terms of aesthetic, difficulty, landing, like, Or all
Let's
of
go
it?
all. Let's go all.
Okay. It's kind of hard with landings because generally this conversation and this kind of thing never really comes up because, well, until something happens that's questionable. And then I think there's like a big hoo-ha about it and everyone's like, well, you see, you've got the two sides. You've got the people that are like, well, it was actually 1/8 of a millimeter off the full rotation, so you can't call it whatever you're calling it. But then you got the other people that are just like, nah, man, just be free. It's all just movement, bro.
It's
And
whatever
like,
he wanted
I
it to
fall
be.
somewhere in the middle. Because I think, obviously, we need standards, and I think the community definitely has those standards. But a lot of the time, you can't really get a good gauge on what everyone else thinks because most of the people that are speaking up about it, I don't know, they a lot of the time, they don't really have much of a leg to stand on in terms of their stance of what should be acceptable and what shouldn't.
That's because most people who are gonna, because it's like with me for example, if I see someone do a trick, well they say like, oh, 540 gyro knife, and
Yeah.
there's the 540 doesn't have like a kick, it doesn't extend, and they do the knife after they've landed and stuff. Then I'm like, well, that wasn't it. But I don't comment on it or anything or go moaning about it because I don't really care. I'm like, if they want to call it that, they can, but it's not it. And I think the people who speak out, it's normally a certain kind of person. And I think that's why, so you only hear from those types of people. Like I saw in the Facebook tricking group the other day, someone said that no one's rotated a quad cork. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know how far you want to take it, really. Because
I just outright disagree with that because there's definitely like a couple of Alexanders where it's like there's no denying, like you just can't at this point. And like I maybe when it was the first few that were landed, like maybe, but still, it's like I think you shouldn't push it to the point where it's like if your toe is pointing in the wrong direction, then like it doesn't count. But you shouldn't have like complete. You shouldn't just let everything go.
I don't think there's much, like just with general stuff, with people posting things and calling it whatever, it doesn't matter. So like, who cares? If people want to have low standards, then they're going to have a low standard of tricks, and that's up to them. But when it does matter, and I think this is something that should be addressed a bit more, even though it hasn't been happening lately because no battles, but tricking battles. I think people get away with way too much in them. I think if you do a quad that's like half a twist or even a quarter of a twist off, then it should be marked way down because it's not it. The whole reason it's hard is because you're doing the 4 twists. Like if it's a double full snapu and you're half a twist off, it should be treated the same as a cart double full swipe. Because it's just, whereas lots of the time it's counted like it was a double full snapu when it wasn't. The whole hard thing about it is being able to kick and fully rotate afterwards. If you don't do it, then it's not it. And in battles, then it does kind of matter because it's competition.
No, I get that, and I think those standards should be held to a high degree in battles and stuff. But moving away from like the landings and stuff like that, and like things being done properly and complete, like the other side of it, in my eyes, is like the aesthetic. They're the two main things. But aesthetic, I think it's just kind of the same as it always has been. There's the people that are really, really trying to push making things look a particular way. And in my eyes, that's what's going to create the best results. And that's what's going to, 9 times out of 10, get the most fulfillment out of their training and out of their entire kind of tricking career. Because they can look back or they can be happy with the tricks that they're doing as opposed to wanting to throw up when they see their own tricks. Because that's what it was like for me for the longest time. And now it's kind of like, I only have that with... I don't want to throw up all the time, but I do hate a lot of my tricks. And that's what's going to push me to get to the point where I'm like, this is like my shit. Like, I can do this, and I just want to build from that.
Now you just have a quick fap. You watch it, you go through your clips. Like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm just cracking one out to my own legs. It's a real problem. It's real difficult to explain that to people on first dates and stuff. They just don't get it. But
they're trying to talk to you, and you're just looking at your phone like furiously going at you.
I think generally people don't care all that much. Or maybe, you see, this is something I've just not actually thought about. Maybe people just aren't quite as vocal about it. Because
Maybe,
the thing
because
is,
I didn't say anything.
we only see the end product, and like the people that like I don't know, we're going to be predominantly watching like the people at the top of the game or that are really really good. They probably do care. They might just find it hard, and they're not fucking talking about it when they're posting their
That's the
flips.
thing.
You know.
Dilk calls people out.
I have been known to call people out before, but it doesn't come from a place of hate. It comes from a place of love.
But what's this thing? Because this, I don't know. I find it crazy when people are calling other people out, especially if it's not their boy.
Okay. Well, it definitely wasn't my boy. It was assorted Japanese tricker. The one you're thinking of, Kojo, is that the one you're thinking of?
Yeah.
Okay.
So who was it?
So this Japanese tricker, who's very, very talented,
Yeah.
and I do watch his clips and I follow him. He posted a clip on Instagram and he said that he was doing a move.
Okay.
Now, when I watched it straight away, I could see he clearly wasn't doing this move in the slightest way. Okay. Because the kicks were not extended in the slightest. It was over half a twist off. And it's like, come on, we have other names for other tricks like that. It's clearly not it. So if he had just put in his caption, just having a fun training session with my mates, lol, then I would have been like, yeah, good, you're trying this cool move. But because he said, this is my first, blah, 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 I had to kind of say, but it's not it, though. It's not the move. And I think the issue is, if people are calling the move something it's not, then over time that trickles down to the next generation who are just going to try and cheat it even more. And then the next generation will cheat it even more.
Counter argument, it's kind of helped though, because I think if standards were like enforced really strictly, then the way, especially Japanese tricking, and I know that's generalizing, but a lot of the best Japanese trickers, for a long time they did stuff in a way that lots of people wouldn't have really counted, would have been like, oh, I don't know about that dub, I don't know if that trick's like that legit, but it ended up making them way better than everyone else because they did it this sketchy but really efficient way, like just the easiest way to land the move. And then after drilling it loads, it became nicer, and now they can just do really hard moves, some like pretty nice up to a certain level. So maybe the lack of standards has actually helped tricking progress to the next level, to play devil's advocate.
I think in some areas that's true because the difficulty gets higher. But however, the aesthetic side, as we were saying, I don't think overall has been pushed to a higher level than like a Nice. You know, think about how many years it's been since Nice was killing.
That's true. But having said that, I think a lot of people have roles within tricking, and they're like, especially if they become like staple figures, like Mike and ShowSay or Alexander and people like that, they push a certain thing, and it's, for example, if you watch ShowSay do a super basic combo, he can move his legs. If he just does like cheat 9 hook, touchdown race, box cutter or whatever, he can move his legs in a crazy way, and it might not necessarily be because he's been training those particular things and really trying to sharpen everything up. It's because he's also trained the things that are way harder, and he might not be fully rotating something on the real hard end of the spectrum, but then it makes all the other stuff a lot easier for him to get higher, twist faster, and get his hips into the position so that he can do the biggest hook kick he can in a single twist variation. So when you're, for example, when you're saying that to whoever it was, like a genuine question, because like I just can't imagine commenting on somebody else's post being like, that's not it. Because even if they're trying it and they're saying that this is the thing, I have no doubt most times, especially if they're really good, then they'll progress past that, and that is their first. They might not have to say, this is my first attempt at this because it's really shit and I haven't fully extended all the kicks. It's just like, I did it. It's kind of like I counted, but it's like, I know in a week's time it's going to be way better.
So this specific person was known for cheating a lot of stuff, so it kind of was like wearing away at me. It wasn't like they did this one thing. You know, I kept my voice quiet for a long time, but this was just a blatant, just, you know, I just couldn't stand it anymore, because what I'd like to see is tricking as a whole say, these are the moves that we have, and then here are the next level moves. And instead of being like, how can I do something that looks like this trick, they actually work hard enough to get it so that it's legit. You know, it's like the example that I've thought of in my head, right? If you do a 540 kick, okay, it's implied that you land on your kicking leg. So if someone didn't land on their kicking leg, you wouldn't say it's a 540 kick because like that's a fundamental part of the move, is that you jump up, kick, and land on it. So if we take like a snapu, right? The idea is that you kick and then you twist on the way down. So if you don't kick, then isn't it a cheat 7 twist? Because we already have a move that's a cheat 7 twist. The whole point of the snapu is that you kick and twist. So if you're saying that it's a snapu, but you've not done a kick, then really it's just a cheat 7 twist.
Okay, so when you're saying this to him, you're looking at it from a community-wide perspective, and you're looking at it for the greater good as opposed to person-to-person basis.
Yeah, I don't want to fight this guy.
No, I'm not saying you want to fight him, but it's like you're not looking at it just because it's him, and you're like, that's not it, and then I'm going to move on my day. You're doing the Lord's work by instilling these good values in trickers.
Yeah, exactly.
So that they do shit properly.
You're welcome.
In other sports, to be fair, and this is to play devil's advocate again once more, but this time I'm Dilly's side. So in other sports, like skateboarding and stuff, and b-boys, even free running as well, just in other sports in general, people are less puss about things like this.
Mm-hmm.
They have their stand. They're like, I don't know. If you're claiming something that you've not actually done or it's not legit, then everyone's like, nah, fuck off. But in tricking, everyone has to be really sensitive about it, which I guess is good in some ways. But I don't know. Like this example, I'd say, yeah, maybe there's probably no point speaking up about that. But an example of when I think there was a point speaking up about it is when ShowSay beat Johan hooked, not last year but the year before. And Johan should have won because ShowSay did a double cork snapu that's half twist off, and there's no way he would have won with finishing with a double cork swipe. So I think that's an example where Johan lost hooked because of those lack of standards, because a trick was counted that wasn't actually the trick.
Yeah, there's so few double cork snapus out there that just to see someone attempt it and land on their feet was like a crowd reaction of, oh my god, he actually attempted it. And also, an important thing about that battle is, because I watched this, all right, after every single pass, ShowSay is like, going crazy. And Johan just like that, and he's just like, does his triple cork, just marches off to the corner. And I think it makes such a big difference, because if you land and you're going crazy, then the crowd reaction and the judges are going to say, wow, you really smashed that, it was really good. And if you're just kind of like going, oh, that was a good trick, and you walk back, then it's kind of like your body language is all shrunken down. And I think it can make a difference.
Unfortunately, that is kind of the way that battles have kind of progressed over the years. Because it's, in my opinion, it's somewhat ingrained in it now. Like, you have to put on a little bit more of a show. And I don't really know where I fall on that side, because in a sense, I would like it to just be about, the flips that you're doing, because that's what you're there for. But then at the same time, it's kind of like, if you can package it well, then you should. And also that kind of adds to the whole aura that somebody can bring to the floor. Like the way that you can kind of move around the floor when you're not even tricking, and the way that your body language is, it gives off a particular vibe that I think is more performance-based. And I think when you're doing something that is for performance sake, such as a battle, then I think it is a good thing to be able to have that. So you are right, and I agree with what you're saying in that instance with ShowSay, but I don't necessarily think that was lack of standards. I think that was more like
the hype
looking at things,
taking over
and
the
hype,
judges.
and like just kind of going with the flow of it because everyone was going fucking nuts, and like it is kind of hard to like catch it right there and then.
I've been a judge before. Yeah. It is hard as a judge, and that's another thing. Like, we don't really have proper judges in tricking. We just get whoever doing it.
Well, yeah, someone just commented, Paul Van Huysen. It just said, I also feel that judges don't really take battles seriously enough. That they really try to shift their mind to only think objectively and not emotionally in general. And I think that's true in some senses, but I think there's also other people where they don't look at it objectively enough. But again, that depends on the battles and which ones we're talking about, I guess.
Yeah. And that's a bit of a different thing. But in talking about how it just, like, I guess the battle thing's kind of its own issue. I still think with the just standard stuff in general, I still don't. I don't know. I don't think you'd be that justified in calling people out. Like I think it's funny. I guess I just haven't made my mind up on it because it's the sort of thing where I wouldn't do it because I wouldn't like it if someone did that to me. But I wouldn't normally say that I'd done something that I hadn't as well. But then it is down to perspective and your own personal standards. So it's kind of like you putting your objective views on something that to them is subjective.
Yeah, it's a weird one because I think if, let's say, for example, you did a painting. If you're a painter and you did something, and in your head it was an emotive-based painting, and then somebody comes onto your Instagram or whatever it may be, or if it's at a gallery and they're shitting on it because they're like, well, from a technical standpoint, this is awful. And it's like, yeah, but that's not what I was trying to do. And you can't just kind of decide what I was trying to do while I was creating this thing.
But then you end up with people that gaffer tape a banana to a wall and sell it for 150 grand and call it art.
My stance is yours,
isn't it? I did a little poo in the corner. It's art.
If someone can do that, I've got mad respect for them.
They pulled it off.
Is to pull that off, that is the greatest thing. Because like I remember when I first saw that banana thing, and I was like, this guy's a fucking genius. I love it. And
yeah, but you saw what happened to the banana, though.
Huh?
Man came up and just ripped it off and just ate it.
After somebody had bought it for like 100 bags.
All right, well, here's another perspective, because on the OMID Kojo show, we like to blast out perspectives from all angles, coming at you from the screen. So this one is recently, I wouldn't even call it this, but I've changed up my gainer scissor. I no longer do my gainer scissor as a gainer with a scissor. I do a cork fei long and then scissor out of that. So I end up landing, like lots of the time, landing in the same stance as I did for my gainer scissor, taking off the same as my gainer scissor, but it's a different movement that flips less and inverts less, but looks way cooler and feels way cooler in my opinion. Now, with that, I probably wouldn't post it saying, oh, look, this is my new gainer scissor. I'd just kind of post a flip. But that's an example of where by loosening standards and by not forcing myself to invert a certain amount, then I've been able to like produce a way cooler looking trick. So I guess if you take the names away from it, I think it can be a really positive thing to change your standards in that sense. If you think something needs to be a certain amount of flip, maybe if you got rid of that standard you're putting on yourself, you could do it in a way cooler way.
Yeah, if that's your mindset and you're coming from a place where it's an artistic opinion and you're saying, I want it to look a certain way, so I'm going to blend the lines between the two, I think that's different than trying to say, I just want to land the trick. I just want to do a full in back out, but I'm going to make sure that I don't do a back out. And it's like, well, if you're not doing a back out, you're not doing a full in back out, you're doing a shaped object like a full in back out, Because there are certain things, a full in back out implies a back out. Well, if you're really over the side, like so your hips don't even get up to shoulder height, is it a full in back out? No, but it can still be cool.
So would you be fine with that if they just said, "Oh, my combo to punch full in shant out"? Would that just be fine then?
Yeah, because you could just put like combos from the session, and you could just be like, "Oh, I think he was going for a full in there. That would be pretty cool when it gets done." Maybe it's only when it comes to like limits. So either personal limits or more specifically the limits of tricking. Like the limits, like if ShowSay's quint, okay, he released it in his sampler. No one's really talking about it because it wasn't really a quint. If he did a legit quint, you'd think everyone would be sharing it.
It was really close to it though. But he didn't. I guess he did say. Did he say that he did it or not?
I don't think he did.
I don't think he did.
Yeah, so I guess just a really close to quint, which is an insane thing when you think about it.
Yeah. But then if he labelled that as quint and posed it as quint because he landed on his feet, do you think that would matter? Because it's just a move at the end of the day, but the whole point of a quint is that you do 5 of these.
Yeah.
I think everyone.
That many. It's not the same.
Loads of people would say that it was, though. I think there's already plenty of people out there who would argue, like, yeah, ShowSay did quint. Quint's being landed. I think there's a lot of people that would say that. It'd be interesting. I don't know, we need to talk to one of them. Have we got any more comments? Was it just Paul? Is it only Paul watching?
Yeah, there's quite a few people commenting and stuff, but none all that related to this.
Well, give us a random one.
Uh, it's mainly people saying hello.
Hi.
But actually, one thing I did want to mention about that with the full in back out and the full in shan't out, I think that one gets a little bit hairy because let's say, for example, two people do the exact same combo in a battle, or a combo that's like of similar difficulty, and then one does the back out version, but one does the shan't out version. If the shan't out version looks cooler, but the back out version is technically harder, which one wins?
Ooh.
So you're talking, let's say they've just done the same combo, like
yeah, let's just use that as an example.
Or cheat 9 hook caught shanting, and the rest of the combo is kind of the same level, like the cheat 9 hook.
Yeah. The shan't one lands like really easy, like stomps it kind of, and the other one's like lands all crouched and just about squeezes it.
Well, even if they land the same, I think if the in my opinion, because it's kind of like it's splitting hairs at that point with the difficulty, because I don't think that the back out would be that much harder. But if the aesthetic of it looks way cooler, I would probably go for the shan't out in my opinion.
Really? Well, see, I think I go more for the back out. Just thinking about it now.
You're missing something, Dilk. I just thought what you're missing there. With your standards on full in, you know, like trickers, what about our full? Like, we call a full. It's not the same as a gymnastics full. So why are you holding full in back out to gymnastic standards when tricker fulls are completely different? So isn't it just a tricker full in?
So I would say that trickers, yes, we do have our own full, which is not a gymnastics full. But yeah, unless you're talking about things like caught, there's usually a full twist in it. Okay, so that's the element of where it comes from a full. And I would find it more impressive to see someone do like a J-step dub-dub that was super invert and looked strong as hell than like a super sketchy one where they're all crunched and they barely invert.
If you invert too much, it's like not, it's just less, it's counterproductive on some
I'd say it's probably not the best way to...
But I think it can look cooler. Like,
depends how much.
Slava's dub-dub.
When
he does dub-dub, it's pretty inverted. Not all the time, but he has done way more inverted ones than usual. And I think it looks cooler than someone who's completely on the side. But it's like I was saying, it's kind of like splitting hairs at that point because then it's completely subjective. But half the crowd's going to be split, saying like, "Yo, it wasn't the legit version." But then the other people are saying, "Yeah, but it looked way cooler." And then there's the judges' perspectives.
An example of a really flipped double cork: Dom Lewis's double cork.
True.
That's what you get when you do a double cork straight over the top.
True.
I think
someone who's not that good at it as well. Because like if he was swinging it to 3 more dubs, then I think it would look cool.
Yeah, but I don't think. But you wouldn't be able to. See, that's the whole thing. It's like it's just if you flip too much, it's just really bad tech for a cork because you can't swing your leg properly in the takeoff. Because if you did, you'd have to be slightly to the side anyway to swing your leg properly. So you're not going to be able to swing, and you're not going to be able to swing out of it properly as well.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's got to be completely upside down. I'm talking about the spectrum and where you could do that. Because you've got people that do it where they invert like barely anything at all, and it's efficient. But then there's the people that flip more, and it's efficient. Because you've got a spectrum. Like you can kind of do it and be able to do it within these lines.
Yeah.
And it's like the people that err more on the side of being inverted, then, in my opinion, generally they do look cooler. But there's other cool ones that are less inverted too.
Depends if you're doing variations as well, because if you're able to make it less inverted, your variations are going to be better. So like Johan's triple cork is super inverted, but his variations, I mean, they're not my faves personally.
Yeah,
but then there's other people who do really good variations, but then you see them doing their triple cork and it just looks like, just not that nice. Like they super have to squeeze it round and it's really crunch landings. So maybe when it comes to twists, the more invert you are, the better it is. That should be the goal. And then you make it less inverted at your own discretion to add variation to it.
Well, obviously to a certain extent, because we're not going to go all the way and just make it like a complete layout with the double cork or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Like I think going back to what we were saying about the general standards in battles and things, I would love to know. I wish there was a way that we could have like a legit poll of trickers and and ask them, how many of you are really, really trying to make your tricks look really good? How much time are you spending on the aesthetic, and how much time are you spending on just completing a flip?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people are trying to make their tricks look pretty good. It's just really hard. It's really, really hard. That's a big thing to take into account.
Yeah, and training twists is such a simple, like, logical progression of once you've got a double, you can start training for triple, and then you've got better. Whereas if you learn a 540 kick, or you learn a jackknife, that's not the end goal. Like, learning a jackknife isn't the end goal.
Yeah, it's the start.
That's step one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like, you're just playing the game now, son.
Yeah.
This is hour one.
Yeah.
What other hot topics you got then, Dill?
Yeah, what other opinions you got about things?
Okay, so this is what I was thinking about today. Tricking on Mars, right?
Right, yeah.
Red planet, lot smaller than Earth, 38% gravity of Earth. What would tricking be like on Mars? So Elon calls you up, gets you on his spaceship, sends you out to Mars, and is like, do some flips for me.
It'd be weird to get used to because everything would be so different. You'd be over flipping
have to
everything.
move in slow motion when on the ground, and then try and maximize all power while in the air. But you can't use momentum in the same way.
So I was thinking, would it be like underwater if you're trying to do tricks when you're underwater? But that's kind of hard sometimes.
Well, there'd still be some. You got to think that's not like. I mean, that is a lot less, but it's not like an insane amount less. Like, you would still be connected to the floor. You would still be able to do tricking moves. I think that'd be quite a good amount of, like, gravity, actually.
Well, you just couldn't move. Like, while you were on... Sorry, what were you saying?
I was saying, do you think that's the difference between, like, ShowSay doing flips on Earth and someone who's, like, way heavier than him? It's, like, a comparable difference in weight and force.
Yeah, I mean, ShowSay weighs, like, what, about 40% less than me. So about that, yeah. I don't know if his muscles aren't going to be quite as strong just because he's so much smaller, but they're probably close. Like his strength to weight ratio. He doesn't have all these fat bones getting in the way, weighing him down.
You know,
this big head.
You want to talk about fat bones? Bro, my shin bones are fucked. I felt them the other day for the first time in a long time. They're so big.
I haven't grabbed your shin bones in so long. I used to grab on OMID shin bones all the time. I don't know if anyone watching this has seen them. OMID shins.
They're like broadswords.
Yeah, they really are. It's like a surfboard in his leg.
I forgot how big they were, and I was looking at my wounds from my crash.
You big fool.
And I felt my shin bone, and I was with a lovely young lady, and I was like, "Give me your shin bone for a sec." And her shin bone was like this big, and my shin bone's like this.
You made her touch your shin bone, didn't you?
No, she asked to.
Oh, okay, that's what you're telling in court.
Show us on the doll where he made me touch.
Points to, and it's like a doll of OMID with massive shins.
A doll with metal rod legs.
Just a pair of skis for shins.
No, that's funny.
Oh, I don't know.
I want to know about your triathlon, OMID. I want to hear the tale.
Forgot about that.
Hear about it. Mighty, impressive feat.
Right, so I decided yesterday morning I wanted to do a triathlon. Well, the only reason I kind of thought of it was someone messaged me saying, "Yo, you should do a triathlon." I was like, "Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll do that actually." And I thought about doing it this weekend, but I want to train tricks. So yesterday morning I woke up and I was like, I could just kind of do it tonight. And so I looked at all the leisure centres and stuff to find a pool. And I booked a session in, but the only one that I could get was 8:15 in the evening. So I was like, all right, cool, no problem. Went and bought some goggles because, I'm a proper swimmer now.
You're not a proper swimmer. You haven't proven yourself yet.
So as I was leaving the house, I had a little bag because you can't take anything to the swimming baths. It's a joke. Like you can't get changed. You can't take all your swimming stuff off. You have to just wear it underneath you. So I took a little bag and I had my goggles in there. And as I've left the house, they must have fallen out of my bag just onto the side as I picked it up. And so I got to the swimming baths, and I was like, just about to go in, and I was like, fuck, I haven't got my goggles. So I had to go all the way back home, and thankfully I only live a few minutes away. Then I got back, missed the first 10 minutes, and then tried to do the swim, but only had 32 minutes in the pool, and I got 1,200 meters done instead of 1,500 meters, and I was like, fuck it, I'll do the cycle and the run anyway. Then I did the cycle. That was relatively easy, but I was still kind of pissed about the swim. And then the run was so hard. Because I haven't really been running that much as over the past month or two, just because I've kind of switched everything out for cycling because it's less impact, and I had to prepare for the big cycle. And I just kind of did it, and it took me like 3 hours 10 minutes minus the extra 300 meters. So I'm going to do it again next week so that I can actually complete it properly.
Did you have breaks in between, like after swimming, or did you just like jump straight on your bike and just go out?
Well, I had to go back to mine real quick, but it was no more than like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, and I cycled back to mine just so I could put my cycling shorts on, and then went out. And then when I did the run, I just literally ditched the bike and then went running off straight away.
Do you think you're the first trucker triathlete?
Nah, no way.
Yeah, there's going to be one there out there, some skinny bastard.
Yeah.
Pasty skinny man.
Yeah. I don't know, it's weird though, because like when I posted on my story, because I was just posting shit from the weekend, because I went to Durdle Door. Beautiful, by the way. Everyone should go there. And at the end, I just said, yeah, I'm going to do a triathlon tonight. And I didn't actually complete it because I'm a little pussy, and I ran out of time, and they kicked me out of the pool. Because it closed way earlier because of COVID. Pissed me off.
Oh, man got coved. Yeah, I mean, you got to get out of there before the COVID. Before the COVID sets
even
in.
Though we're all swimming in the same pool, in the same body of water. Absolute insanity. But, I was quite shocked because everyone was saying, like, oh, you got to train for months and stuff. And I have been training, obviously, because I've been running and cycling and shit. But I just feel like there's, like, the next levels up, like doing, like, a half Ironman and then doing, like, an Ironman. They're very, very different. But doing a triathlon and a marathon and stuff like that, I think you can kind of get away with it just on being relatively fit and just refusing to give up. But then if you're trying to do it in a decent time, you got to put some serious fucking work in.
Well, it's a similar story to like last year when I wanted to run a marathon, and I found out that you have to pay to like do the Manchester Marathon. It's like 40 quid, and I thought, I'm not going to pay 40 quid to run. Like, why would I pay to run? So I just found out what was 13 miles away from my house, and I just ran there and ran back, and I was like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to run one day. And because when I was looking up people that do these like 200-mile races, I just thought it can't be that hard, really. 26 miles, you can run it in one day. You can run it in an afternoon. It's not that bad. So I think people hype up these things. They say you need like 6 months to recover from a marathon. And I'm like, who are these people?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I thought. Like people were messaging me saying like people train for months for this, and like everyone was so shocked that I just put it on my story, and I was like, I just feel like you can just. I feel like a lot of things are hyped up way too much.
Well,
if you really want to do something, because everyone was saying like, "Oh, is the one going on? Why is it so late?" And I was just like, I'm just gonna do it. Yeah.
OMID, how come you didn't mention that Paul's roommate has COVID?
Who?
Paul's roommate, he's got bloody COVID.
Who's Paul?
Have you not been? I thought, I'm checking the comments now because obviously you've not been doing a good job of it. Paul's roommate has COVID, and I don't know about it. And that's
I
a
thought you were
problem.
about a person that we knew.
No, Paul Van Hoosen.
Then I thought I was going to have COVID.
Paul's a loyal member of the Church of Stromid, all right? You know Paul inside and out.
Oh, Mr. Cleason.
What else? Alex Hunter says, what do you think the next trends will be? Every other clip is Cart Heli right now or Reversal. And yeah, that's how I say it now. Now I'm a Portuguese man.
Portugueser.
Portugueser. I'm a Portugueser. What's the next big trend?
I talked about you the other day, about how we had the dub era, and that was like the main thing everyone was pushing. And then that kind of blended into the shuriken cutter era, where everyone seemed to be chasing shuriken cutter. Like, if you looked at a gathering, a lot of people would be trying the same thing. And then it's right with the capoeira moves that are sort of coming back in, you know, because I thought capoeira was really gay for the longest time. Just because of the people that did it at my gym, they would wear like super tight yellow vests, you know, and they were like these oiled up Brazilian men.
It looks fun though. They get to be a part of something when they do it, all like, you know, moving backwards and forwards, doing like sweeps and stuff. It does look fun. I wish I had a bunch of capoeira mates.
Yeah. When we get to Portugal, me and you,
we're gonna join the club.
Yeah.
We're just gonna wear the gear everywhere.
You'll kick each other in the face.
Yeah. Cartwheeling around over each other.
Wear a Brazil t-shirt. I found out I've been training in the ghetto as well. I think I told OMID about this earlier. I don't know. But yeah, I talked to the locals and I told them about the best grass spot that I've been training at. Apparently it's in the ghetto, which I kind of figured because there was a lot of like groups of men around. But I don't know, I like it there. The grass is really nice and there's a lot of colourful characters and there's a lot of feces as well. So
love that.
You know, keep you on your toes.
Home, does it? Feces.
Yeah, it's a bit of a warm up, dodging the feces.
You don't have to be warm feces.
Oh wait, are people projectiling? Sorry, are people throwing projectile feces in your direction?
I think people do poo in the park, but because I went there at 7 a.m. one of the days before the park had opened. The security guard told me I couldn't be in the park, which is insane to me that a park would be closed in daylight. But there were a load of homeless people about, and there were feces. I think some were they were too big to be a dog's feces, you know.
How close were you inspecting these human feces?
Pretty close.
So, getting back onto the topic of tricks and trends.
Okay, sorry about that. We get off topic and talk about feces.
Fuck a trend, but wise lesson I learned. Wise lesson, which I've already told my mates about, but I'm telling the people now as well. So sometimes you never know what's actually going to help you in your tricks. Sometimes really bad news might just be the best news of your life. It might save your goddamn life. So I've been trying to fix my swing 9 double hyper for 20 months now, all the time, and I've found it really, really hard, but it was a fun challenge. And because I injured myself on it like a week and a half ago, then after doing my first ones, after being injured, I did it super slowly, super safely, and I can do it way better now. Turns out all I needed to do the whole time was to try less and do it really slow. And now I can do it well. So I wanted to share that with you all, that sometimes getting injured, it ain't so bad. There's silver linings. You never know what's going to be good news and what's going to be bad news. You might break your neck, and it might turn out to be great. I don't know.
It could make you a great father.
It could.
Because you broke your neck.
Yeah, you learn a lesson from it. You come back stronger than ever. You get a new neck. You get selected for like a new bionic neck. And then you've just got this really powerful neck, and it leads all of your tricks. You just go like, and you don't even have to push off your legs really. Your neck just like throws you into the air. You can stand in triple back, all because of the neck. So you never know. You never know, and that's what I wanted to share with everyone today.
Nice bit of positivity.
Yeah, that's nice, isn't it?
Pro tip to try less.
Yeah, try less.
Anyone watching, try less.
Try it as little as possible.
Yeah.
You'll achieve your dreams.
Do things slow motion.
YouTube could be Sam Kojo Plumber.
Oh, what's this comment here? We got a comment from Shahaya Jumps. Shahaya Jumps. Shahaya Jumps. He says Shahaya Jumps says, I haven't been tricking as much as before, but I'm still improving because I've been exploring the concepts a lot. How important do you think knowledge is for trickers? Oh, don't get me started about this one. Anyone who's seen this before knows I think knowledge is very important. It helps a lot. Yeah, it's just important. We don't need to go on about that for ages. Everyone agrees.
Yeah,
Actually, basically.
Paul's asking, your mate Paul Omid is
Oh,
asking,
my mate, Paul. Mr. Hoyson.
Mr. Huizen, your best mate Paul Van Huizen. He says, do you guys have regular times for the YouTube live now? What are we going to do about that, Omid? Because I can't, it's you. We're relying on you. I'm free whenever.
Okay.
So it's,
Quarter past 5 on the days that we do it. And it's usually going to be Tuesday, Thursday, right?
Tuesday, Thursday, 5:15, bargain. But saying that, can't do it this Thursday at that time.
Fuck's sake.
I'm meeting the man. Did I tell you?
Oh, you got your ID number?
No, I've failed. That's gone badly. I'll tell you about that later. But did I tell you that I'm meeting a man? This middle-aged bloke he's teaching me Portuguese. But
what?
I'm gonna go around the city with him. We're gonna go to cafes. We're gonna go to the supermarket. We're gonna go look at statues, and he's gonna teach me Portuguese the whole time. So
does he want to kiss you hard on the mouth?
No, I'm paying him. He's like a tutor guy.
Oh, so you're paying a man to kiss you hard on the mouth? That's what's going on here.
I mean, he's not gonna do it for free. He's not gonna. you
You're
know,
paying a man to go on a date with you.
pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
The way you said you're meeting a man.
Huh?
The way you said you're meeting a man, it sounds like Sandra, who's just got out of her hard relationship, is finally getting back on her feet.
I'm getting back out. I'm getting out there. I'm meeting a Portuguese man, and not a lovely Portuguese man.
You're gonna shave your foot?
Stop it. You dirty bastard.
Oh, Jesus wept.
That's why.
Well, before we get, because I want to talk about this Portuguese man. But before we carry on, just follow us on Instagram and you'll see when we put the countdowns on, and just set a reminder, and also turn your notifications on for the YouTube channel so you get notified when we do go live.
Well, only on Tuesdays for me, because I've found my Instagram solution. I delete the app, and then I download it for 20 minutes on a Tuesday, post about the live, respond to all the messages, and then delete it again. That's my new system. It's been working. I've been loving it, actually. Not seeing all this shit. And just from those 20 minutes going through the messages, it already started making me feel bad. People being dumb, and I don't know. People, a lot of them are people just sending me, not even asking for advice, just sending me their flip. And it's like, yeah, I've seen the double cork. I've done it, mate. I've done it. And I know what it looks like. I don't want to see it.
Kojo, they just want to hear that you're proud of them.
But it's like, I never did this. I never did that. When I was learning, I never sent a clip to Velu. When I started tricking, and I loved watching Rasmus, Velu, Mike Guthrie or whatever, I never sent them a clip of my flips because I thought, they can do them. Why would they want to see me do them worse? So, this is what goes through my head when I see this stuff. So, I'm not looking at it now. And I've been doing it for a couple of weeks now. It's been pretty great. I think I'm going to keep it up.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, if only you had some sort of website where people could go and learn how to do the moves from you.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
If only.
Yeah.
If only such a resource existed for a competitive price.
Well, where they can find out about the latest forgotten tricks. If anyone hasn't seen, Dilk has his own award-winning series. It's actually Emmy nominated.
Yeah, best supporting actress.
Nominated series.
Great cooks in there.
Dilk, why don't you talk about the Forgotten Trick series?
Forgotten Trick series. Okay, so I don't remember how it officially came up, but from what I remember, there was always a post on Facebook like every year of someone saying, "Post all the forgotten tricks," and it's always the same flips that come up over and over again, like Whiplash, Shaolin Cross, Holy Hook, and it's just always the same flips that people say, "Why doesn't anyone do these flips anymore?" And I was talking to my good friend Sam Kojo Plumber, and I was talking about, it'd be good to do. That's the one. We were going to do some kind of series where we just originally I thought it was going to be that we just talk about these flips because try and bring them to light because everyone's bored of seeing cheat nines and shuriken cutters and like under rotated triples. It's just like who cares? There's all these tricks out there. Let's put it up there. And we sort of made an idea where instead of just talking about the trick, we would use me as the host of the show, and I would find as many clips as I could because I'm a super tricky nerd and I've seen every sampler from, back in the day and all these random clips, and I know all of the stuff about every minute little video and what clip, what sampler's in, so I've got a good memory for that. And I would take a little profile of the clip, discuss the trick and see why it's forgotten, because for some there isn't really a reason why it's forgotten. For some there's a very specific reason, which could either be that it was a real sketchy hard one that's going to snap your ACL, such as a late side kick, or there's some other ones where they just look kind of rubbish, like the double helix wheel kick,
Oh, you
or
hate
the spiral knuckle.
I disagree with the spiral knuckle one. Me and Dilka talked about this before. I think the spiral knuckle could be really cool. I think you could do a lot with it. You diving into this spiral knuckle and then you go straight into a cart like Filipino or something. I think it could be really cool.
It could be cool. Okay. But then the final part of the video is usually me trying to learn the moves. So no matter what level of the move is at, I always show some progressions and show some clips. And sometimes I get the move, sometimes I don't get the move. But we have a good laugh along the way. There's some good comedy bits in there. There's some laughs, there's some tears. There's some hard emotional sex scenes.
Yeah.
Well, just quick one then. What was the hardest?
The hardest, as in like the hardest to learn?
Yeah.
I say probably the one that I spent the most time putting into was the whiplash.
Did you get it?
So the whiplash, for anyone that doesn't know, is the pop 360 in front out, which was made popular by Hans Wickling.
Oh, okay.
And we did an episode sort of dedicated to Hans, and we talked all about the whiplash, because that's one of the most popular forgotten tricks, because it doesn't really fit into the normal tricking style, like pop kicks in general aren't really used, but this is like a whole separate thing. And trying that move on floor is absolutely terrifying. It's one of the scariest things in your life. It's like going for a vortex front with a kick at the start and committing all the way around from a pop takeoff.
Yeah.
So if you can imagine doing that, it's quite horrendous.
I had a session at Jam and he was trying to break it down for me. He just started kind of throwing his head at his crotch and barking at me.
I think you're pretty like busted in the head to actually get this move, because it is just one of them that is like super, super scary. You've got to be able to fully go for it.
You got a full send. Like
so I tried to show as many progressions as I could in the video because that was the best bit, but I did chuck it a few times on floor, but it was just a terrifying experience.
Oh, I love it. I love the section where you're trying the move. It's always great. Like some of the slams. I don't know.
Yeah.
It makes me so happy.
There's a couple of comments here before we wrap it up about the one and only Ilya.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen his new footage?
Oh yeah.
No, I'm not on Instagram anymore, mate.
On this call anyway.
Wait, is it Tuesday? What day is it? I don't fucking know.
Today's Tuesday.
It was amazing, and he's so fucking good.
What did he do?
It doesn't make any sense, because every time I see new footage from him, I'm like, I swear, like a week ago, he was bailing cork on grass.
But what did
It's just him.
The combo with cheat 9, swing 9, and it was like the best Ilya cheat 9 you've ever done, with loads of drop time into a super icy swing 9, and then he did like hook, touchdown raise, dub, switch, cork snapper, and it's just the way that he does it is so fly.
He did 3003 as well, I think.
From touchdown raise punch?
Yes.
Damn, that's cool.
Yeah, it was super fun. The triple cork at the end of that was bust.
I think with Ilya, because his technique is so fire, that once he just gets his body back into like actually training, he just knows exactly how to land the move perfectly. So it looks great no matter what he does.
Yeah. Yeah, Ilya's got one really interesting thing about Ilya that pretty much no one else in tricking can really do to the same extent. But Ilya in his TD raise, he like bounces off his hand a crazy amount. Like he can bounce off his hand all the way up, so he like lands kind of upright for if he's doing it into a switch or something, which I've not seen anyone else be able to do. It's like a round off. That's why he's so good at punching out of it as well. He like really bounces off his hand like a round off, Whereas it doesn't really work like that for most other people. It's just so hard to be strong enough to actually do that. Like have a rebound where your whole body lifts off the ground just from your hand.
Yeah, he's one of the most special trickers in my opinion.
Yeah. He's got shoulders like an ox's leg.
Yeah.
That's it.
Strong like ox. Yo, whenever I see him, I say that to him so much, and he just smiles.
Say what?
He's strong like ox.
Oh,
Sweet baby Ilya.
Good
Anyway,
lad.
there's a dog outside going fucking berserk, so I think we should wrap it up there.
What are you going to do to him?
I'd rather not say, but maybe shave, tar, feathers.
Fair. I mean, sounds about right. Yeah. Oh, by the way, before we go, just wanted to share with you, well, I got you both here. A man walked across the roof earlier, shook me up. Because I'm 4 stories up. I just wasn't expecting there to be a man there, and I just looked out the window and there was just a man like right there. But
maybe it's the guy that's going to teach you Portuguese.
Maybe scoping me out. I don't know. It got me shook. It's a good job I wasn't naked because I've been walking around naked most of the time. I'm naked. So yeah, just thought I'd share that.
Little tidbit.
Just get it out there.
Share thing as well. My gym's 24 hours again, which is bloody marvelous.
Sound. Wait, so they've locked down more, but now the gym's 24 hours.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh wait, maybe it's changed again.
Mate, I don't know. I'm gonna fade us out. But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time on the OMID Kojo show.